live from the State University of New York at Oswego. This is Oswego Now at 4.
Oswego elects Omar Van Reenen as the first International SA president.
Budgets gutted. Club sports pitted against one another in a battle for equal pay.
And a strive for change on the 19-year anniversary of Columbine.
This is Oswego Now.
Good afternoon, I'm Alif Kareem.
And I'm Ryan Berger.
It's been 19 years since the shooting at Columbine High School in Colorado. Today, high schools across the country are standing up and walking out of school as a continuation of protests against gun violence, which were sparked by the Parkland shooting in February.
There are more than 27,000 schools that plan to walk out today, and at least 10,000 people are expected to march at the state capitol in Virginia. Crowds of students also gathered near the White House. As Oswego High School, only a few students walked out and community members gathered to protest gun violence. The protesters gathered at the front door of the school at 10 a.m., the same time other schools around the country were walking out. Oswego student Ethan Shambo says the people shouldn't be afraid to go to school.
It shouldn't be an issue at all. It should be common sense that students should be safe in school, and it's not, and that's really a problem.
The protests coming on the 19th anniversary of Columbine come 2 months after the Parkland shooting.
Mass shootings are hard to define. Jacqueline Schildkraut, a professor at SUNY Oswego, is able to explain mass shootings with statistics. As Anthony Del Piano explains, her work with Governor Andrew Cuomo on his gun violence initiative is one way she is able to make sure that these victims don't just become a number. Jacqueline continues to research more about mass shootings and gather data for all who are curious.
The Syracuse chapter of the Theta Tau fraternity has issued an apology regarding the video that surfaced of a racist hazing ritual. In the official statement, the fraternity said that it is with profound embarrassment and disappointment in ourselves that we find our fraternity in this situation. They proceeded to defend their actions, however, adding, "However, we do believe that it is important to understand the context." Students took to the streets in a massive protest of one of the oldest fraternities on campus. Theta Tau has since been suspended.
The polls are closed and the results are in. Omar Van Reenen has won the 2018 to 2019 SUNY Oswego Student Association presidency. It was the highest voter turnout for a student association election in school history, and it ended with Oswego naming its first international student to the highest chair on the student body. Van Reenen took to social media to thank his voters on multiple platforms for getting him to the office.
You might remember about a month ago, several of SUNY Oswego's women's sports clubs marched around campus to express their frustration over funding. They were receiving less money from the Student Association than the men's teams. Now they're seeing some changes. Under the Equal Pay and Equal Play movement, the Student Association rolled out its 2018 to 2019 club's budget. It features a significant change to the budget between men's and women's sports clubs. Starting next academic year, each sports club that has a men and women's team will receive the same amount of funding. Some of the men's clubs will see their fundings being slashed by about 20%. Rugby and ice hockey will see the greatest hit. Student Association Director of Finance Miranda Christgau explains this year's budget decision.
We had already beforehand decided what we thought would be reasonable to give the men and women's club sports. So what I did is I added what we were expected to give the men's sports, what we were expected to give the women's sports. I added those together, divided it by 2, and that's how much each club got. Fortunately, because of that mathematics, men are going to face a rough year this year.
The Student Association will not allow sports clubs to appeal their budget. SA says it will review the decision next year and work with Campus Recreation to establish a better funding system for its clubs.
Earth Day is 2 days away. Oswego Now reporter Brandon Cortez spoke to SUNY Oswego staff and students who shared their love for making the planet a better place. SUNY Oswego Office of Sustainability have events for Earth Week starting Monday on the 23rd to Friday the 26th of April. For more information, remember to visit oswegonow.net.
1 week after the tragic deaths of the Humboldt Broncos junior hockey team, hockey players across the country are leaving their sticks on the outside of their homes to remember the fallen. The Sticks Out for Humboldt movement has made its way to Oswego, where the Lakers are paying tribute to those lost. Oswego goalie David Riche helped organize the gesture, still in disbelief.
I couldn't believe it. I was shocked like everyone else, but especially as a hockey player, and I read about it and I was like, Jesus, that's terrible. I was like, it must not be real. There's something wrong.
A GoFundMe for the Broncos has reached over $15 million in just 12 days, making it the second largest GoFundMe fundraiser to date.
The unpredictable and harsh weather that Oswego faces sometimes comes with a price. It did last season when higher than usual water levels on Lake Ontario damaged Oswego's marina docks. As Oswego Now's Ray Yan tells us, those damaged docks will be replaced. The officials say they are trying to replace the docks as soon as possible to maximize the value of the marina for the community. And later in the show, I sat down with Oswego's newest Student Association president, Omar Van Reenen.
And in sports, Matt Harvey took the mound versus the Braves, and the Stanley Cup bracket shrinks. We'll tell you who is moving on to round 2.
But first, I woke up this morning and it was pretty warm and sunny outside. Alex, please do not tell me this is fool's gold and it's here to stay.
I'm not sure what they're thinking about there. I don't know why the D-Bus needs to be able to have a restaurant under their belt as well.
Tonight, the Oswego D-Bus is in the works to purchase Franco's Pizzeria.
As spring break approaches, some Oswego students have alternative plans.
And North Korean leader Kim Jong-un says he may soon be in talks with South Korea to end nuclear warfare threats.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm James Catato.
And I'm Abby Baracavoli.
Washington and the world are keeping a close eye on a potential breakthrough in the standoff with North Korea over its nuclear program.
Kim Jong-un is now saying he may be ready to talk with the United States and put an end to his nuclear ambitions. CNN reporter Kristen Holmes has the latest on the major developments. Director of National Intelligence Daniel Coates says he is skeptical of Kim Jong-un's motive on reaching an agreement with the South Korea. In a statement, Coates says North Korea has to agree not to possess nuclear capability, and until that happens, we cannot have an agreement with them.
The Oswego D-Bus is in talks to purchase Franco's Pizzeria in downtown Oswego. In a recent reply tweet to Franco's neighboring business, Alley Cats, the D-Bus confirms that they are excited to get to work. There are mixed reviews on the decision, but one student says the plan to move forward with this idea has some logic.
I don't know, I guess it makes a little bit of sense because Franco's makes a lot of money with the kids going out and stuff, and so does the D-Bus, so that's the connection I see.
Some students are excited for the D-Bus's new business. Most of them are asking for more information and for a job.
Students interested in a healthcare career can attend the SUNY Oswego Healthcare Careers Conference tomorrow night starting at 6 p.m. Breakout sessions in fields such as chiropractics, mental health counseling, and health administration will be held on the second floor of the Marano Campus Center. The conference gives students a chance to speak with graduate school representatives, alumni, and professionals in the healthcare field.
Spring break for SUNY Oswego students begins next week. Many students who are a part of the school's Alternative Breaks program will be traveling around the country to perform community service. Some locations include Alabama, Virginia, Houston, and the Dominican Republic. SUNY Oswego Broadcasting student Justin Penman will be traveling to Houston, Texas to help remove mold from homes as a part of continued Hurricane Harvey relief, and is thankful for the opportunity.
It's a really unique opportunity for SUNY Oswego to offer this kind of service to students, and it's a newer way for people to get volunteer experience.
The cost of trips vary between locations, and students interested in applying to go on one of the service trips can find more information on the community service section of the SUNY Oswego website.
As the city improves internally, Mayor Billy Barlow is looking to attract residents externally. Crystal Cole is in Oswego with more on how the mayor plans to revitalize local businesses.
That's right. I'm here in the Marano Campus Center at SUNY Oswego, one of the 4 major businesses that Mayor Billy Barlow hopes to target with his residential recruitment initiative. He has released and distributed this pamphlet to 4 major businesses in Oswego, hoping to convince employees to live where they work. with the 3 other major businesses being Novelis, Exelon, and Oswego Health. Barlow says that the city has changed a lot since he took office in the fall of 2015, improving the city's downtown, providing more attractions, and enhancing neighborhoods. He says employees of these companies are the exact demographic they're looking to attract to the lakeside city.
They make decent incomes, they have stable employment, and they are the exact people we want to live in our neighborhoods, buy a home, come downtown to shop or eat, and just be part of the community, get their kids involved in sports programs here.
Any business looking to participate in the program can contact the mayor's office.
Thanks, Crystal. In response to the Oswego Student Association receiving demands for equal gender club funding, a statement was released to clarify their decision. Student Association Director of Finance Miranda Kriskow says that she has made an effort to be as transparent and helpful as possible with all organizations. She went on to say, as guided under a rubric when determining organizations' funding that ensures each club, whether a sport or not, receives appropriate funds. Kriskow adds that the rubric does not account for whether an organization is predominantly male or female.
Governor Cuomo has announced the appointment of Dr. Merrill H. Tisch to serve as Vice Chair of the State University of New York Board of Trustees. Tisch has served on the SUNY Board of Trustees since June 2017. Governor Cuomo says Tisch is one of the leading voices in education policy who brings decades of experience and expertise to the position. Previous to serving on the SUNY Board of Trustees, Tisch spent 7 years on the New York State Board of Regents. Coming up later tonight, the U.S. inches closer to major changes in the banking reform legislation.
And concerns from the Republicans come forward on the president's proposed tariff on steel imports. But first, let's take a quick look at the weather with Storm Team 10 meteorologist Rob Roback.
How's it going, Rob?